Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Well, it's an interesting parsha. This Shabbat, does anyone know what it is? Parsha Balak. In Parsha Balak, a donkey saves the day by speaking truth to power. Evil plots to destroy us, and divine intervention flips the script from curse to blessing. Our Torah is a living document. It is an ongoing testament to the power of God and humanity when you have faith and you persevere against all odds. We are in challenging times, to be sure, and the future ahead seems dubious at best. Political parties and people take sides to uphold their version of the truth, while chaos threatens all of our lives. Social unrest, assassination attempts, this is not who we are or were ever meant to be. The Torah is clear. We err all the time. We succumb to our falling and weakness. We can be manipulated, and we are also manipulating. We can be arrogant, distrusting, full of fear, and act out accordingly. And yet, time and again, our humanity is our best asset. Our ability to look beyond our struggle with hope that the promise is right around the corner. It didn't happen easily. We oftentimes were unruly and impatient, longing, looking for something more comfortable times when we were actually even enslaved. We knew what that was. We didn't like where we were, and we didn't know where we were going. Amidst the harsh reality of our existence and our wandering. Somehow, though, we persevered, and we survived long enough to let the next generation have a chance. Thousands of years later, we are faced with a similar task. It would seem that not much has actually changed. There are different players, but the plot twists and the cast are the same. How do we flip the script? How do we survive in the face of evil, doubt, and turmoil? How do we carry on when corrupt individuals carry out their agendas, marching to the beat of their own drummer? How does a 20-year-old, barely grown individual come to commit an unspeakable act of terror? And others well, all around the world, this goes on, here and abroad. Evil always threatens to destroy us. The merit of who we are is how we deal with it. What choices do we make? Are we willing to step up and fight for what we believe is right? And that is the key. As a global humanity, many of us are. However, the truth is seen from the point of view of the player. Everyone is entitled to have the right of a different version of what they will fight to the death to pursue. God gave us free will. We can choose to be good or not. We can choose to fight for what we believe in, even if the person next to us doesn't believe the same thing. That's what we have, the right to think, to feel, to be. When we look at Parsha Balak, evil set out to destroy us. And no matter how many times it tried to succeed, it did not prevail. Curse was turned into blessing, the blessing that we say every Shabbat in our Ma Tovu prayer. The prophet Bilam was sent out to curse us by Balak, the king of Moab. His donkey spoke to him. God spoke to him. And eventually, he went, and what came forth from his mouth, rather than curse, was blessing. So there's a parallel here at Passover time when we were trying to get to that point of the Exodus, and Moses kept going to Pharaoh and saying, all the different things, let my people go, and he kept saying, no, no, no. It is said that God went in and actually hardened Pharaoh's heart. When it comes to the donkey, it is thought that angels were there speaking through the donkey, but actually when Bilam went to look down in the valley and curse the Israelites, it's as if God took over his own being and his power of speech, and instead of curse came forth blessing. Bilam was, in a sense, a vehicle to once again show that Adonai is with us always, walking beside us, watching over us, and that we have the choice. We had the choice to go forward and do evil or go forward and do something that was good and true and full of blessing. It would seem that when things are most dark and we cannot see the forest from the trees, that all is lost. And yet, a ray of light can peek through and turn the darkness of night into a glorious day. Situations can turn quickly, even on a dime. The scenario can flip if we just hold on and persevere. Our faith and our strength of conviction is needed now more than ever. There are so many things that we are not in control of. Chaos ensues and war is the color of the day between nations and within our own homes, at our tables, in our groups of gatherings. Friends and families are torn apart with differing values and perspectives. However, ultimately, to a degree, everyone wants what is right. It's just that one person thinks this is right and another person thinks that is right. It's just that their point of view might be, according to you, skewed, as well as their truth when it's butting up against the other. We are meant to include the other at our Seder tables, seeking Mashiach, that time of perfect peace and redemption through inclusivity, retelling the hardships of our past times so that we can remember, and embracing the order, Seder means order, that can somehow balance out the chaos. We have within us centuries of DNA that have been faced with destruction and, yes, triumph. We may not be able to control outcomes, but we can show up, we can fight for what we think is right, and we continue to put one foot in front of the other, always moving forward. Time, situations, life goes by swiftly. The work of our generation will leave things undone for the next, and hopefully with the promise of turning curse into blessing. So how will this be achieved? Our haftarah for this Shabbat, you might know the prophet Micah or Michael comes from that. It states, "You have been told, O mortal, what is good and what God requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness and to walk modestly with your God." This is our task. This is what we must remember as everything seems to crumble around us and chaos appears to rule the day. The prophet Micah was actually a leader and a champion for the oppressed, those that were oppressed by spiritual and political and physical leaders. We can only hope and pray that a divinely inspired talking donkey will come along to shed some light on the darkness and to reveal the blessing. Two people can see an accident very differently and maintain the truth of their perspective. We can only pray and hope that a middle path will be revealed and ultimate destiny will prevail on the side of goodness and light. So once again, in the words of Micah, "You have been told, O mortal, what is good and what God requires of you, only to do justice and to love goodness and to walk modestly with your God." May it be so. May we merit the blessing and may we obliterate the curse. May we do this together as one humanity, one people, indivisible under God. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.